tell me if we're live yet.
Maybe we're not paying him enough, Eddie.
Live. It says live to me. Live streaming on Facebook.
Streaming. So we're just going. This is different software.
Yeah.
But there'll be people out there, and hopefully they've suddenly been attacked by the UK Table Football Show live in your
streaming on Facebook.
Well,
yeah.
Yes,
it's live.
If you can mute yourselves, guys who are watching. Welcome to the UK Table Football Show. I'm Will Hawks, and this is Team GB Seniors as well with us, featuring Eddie Edwards, who's going to be providing entertainment for the evening. We, as you know, Sunday evenings we have our show. We talk about what's great in the British table football, and one of the cool things when you play table football is being part of a team. And so tonight we're going to be spending the evening with the UK's most successful ever foosball team, the Team GB Seniors. And we're going to be getting into particularly what happened in the World Cup in 2019 in Murcia in Spain. Everyone's with us. So I'm going to kind of not hang around and do too much talking. And we're going to go through and just introduce ourselves and tell you a little about, this is a bit like when you go on a school trip and someone does a write-up for the school magazine about what I did on my summer holidays. So we're going to tell you, and if you don't want to know what we did on our summer holidays, you have to listen to it anyway. And Eddie will probably have some jokes for you. So with that, what I might do is just if I stop sharing for a minute, and hopefully you'll see everyone.
Good evening.
Hi.
Hi there.
Hi there.
Guys, how about we just introduce ourselves? Who's out there?
Yes, top to bottom, I'm George from Manchester on the lucky British senior team.
Good evening. I'm Paul. I live in Surrey, and I was very pleased to be part of the GB Seniors team.
I'm Dave, captain of the senior team for a few years now, and captain at Murcia. Hi, everyone.
Reese here. I live in London, and I was lucky enough to be on the senior team as well.
Hi. Hi, I'm Eddie, and I'm from Cheshire. And Reese, what are you still doing there? And I'm lucky enough as well to be part of the senior team. Loved it.
Hello there, I'm Kai. I'm genetically German. But that didn't stop me to play for Great Britain, and I was very happy with that.
We were very pleased to have you.
Yeah, everyone. Come on, Chris.
Hi, hello. I'm Chris. I'm from Nuneaton, and I was very lucky to be part of the team because it was a bit unexpected, as I only went there for to spectate and go along and view, basically. So to take part was really good and unexpected. So thank you.
And we were very lucky to have you.
Yeah.
So here's a little picture of your folks when we all arrived in Spain. You can see that although Kai is actually he's British, apart from his genetically German, you're wearing those lovely sandals and white socks, Kai, that gave your German origins away. I don't know if we can quite see them in that picture.
I think he's wearing lederhosen.
He was going to join us tonight, was the team mascot. The absolutely fantastic Dave Cleal-Hill.
Yeah.
He's in the middle of the picture there. I was hoping, Dave, join us if you can. Dave just had come on holiday and was our super fan and was absolutely awesome all the time. It makes such a difference when you've got people supporting you when you're part of a team.
Well,
Hotel Nelva. Were there any highlights, guys, of arriving in Spain and staying in the Hotel Nelva?
yeah, well, can I just make a point that Kai, genetically altered, he's actually got two heads, or is that Reese behind him?
That's Reese behind him.
Oh, right. I thought
Stupid boy.
Great picture.
Yeah, and you know, there was a young lady called Oksana who brought the drinks, who I think had to suffer Eddie's jokes.
Yeah, she loved him.
So right, you turn up like this, and then you go to the World Cup, and suddenly you all look like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, they were doing this fantastic thing of you know, all the teams put your shirt. We're all there, right? Yeah, that's tremendous, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Dave, tell us a bit about how you, as a captain, put the team together. Let's start with that, and then we'll go through our adventures of the matches we play.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I guess it all started about 8 months before the event. And in GB, you don't just get picked for the team. You have to kind of declare an interest first. You've got to apply. So we actually had 14 people apply for the senior team, which I think was a record, and also more than applied for the men's team. And I wanted to fill 7 of the slot, the maximum of 7. So, you know, that was a bit of a tough challenge. So yeah, I mean, it was things like tournament experience, local and international tournament experience, and specialist experience on the various table types that were the main drivers. So ended up picking a kind of a core of 4 players, and then in discussion with the 4 players, sort of picking the rest of the team. Also, you know, ability to kind of play as a team was another factor. So I wanted people, you know, the thing is, at that distance from the tournament, you never really know how many teams are going to show up, what table types you're going to have to play on. So you've got to cover the bases. You've got to have people who are specialists in all the different table types. And then you have an issue, you know, you might not actually get to play in theory. If you have a specialist on one table and you don't get a draw on that table, you know, it's possible that somebody might not play. But nevertheless, I thought it was important to cover the bases. And I was really relieved. We didn't get the draw until, I think actually until the day we traveled to Spain. And I was really relieved that we had a great draw where I just knew immediately everyone is going to get to play. So that was great.
Any guys, any other things about sort of joining the team you want to share?
Pick up
Yeah.
a bit, sorry.
Well, should we go and get into talk a little bit about the match? I know Dave, actually one thing to share. Dave and I were at the time not working too far away from each other, and Dave is a computer programmer and couldn't resist the temptation of trying to map out every single possible combination of a Team GB that you could have in the World Cup format. Dave, how many iterations could you come up with? How many?
Oh yeah, that was actually, that was great because it meant I could do a whole bunch of prep in advance. So yeah, I wrote a bit of small talk code to generate the combinations. So with the particular race format that you've got, you can end up with, so what it is, it's you've got 2 doubles legs. You go double, doubles, singles, singles, doubles, and then you go again, you repeat that doubles, doubles, singles, singles, doubles. And there's a restriction that you can't, no one player can play consecutive legs. And you've got to field exactly 4 different players for that fixture. So it turns out there's exactly 216 possible combinations. So generating them and sticking them into Google spreadsheet, you could then knock out a whole bunch of combinations straight away, because you know you don't want, some people aren't going to play singles, some people aren't going to play together because they're both attackers or both defenders. So you can kind of throw away for any given table type. At this point, it's just tables. You don't know who you're going to play. So you might say, you know, what's the story with Tornado table? We picked Garlando as our home table. I mean, that's another story we can talk about how we arrived at that. But basically, we ended up with a whole bunch of combinations that we could very quickly look at and say, no, don't like that, don't like that. Yeah, we like that one, we like that one. And then kind of do a bunch of prep work in advance. So,
and then we got to test it out, of course, in our first game. So I'm going to go through all the different matches, guys, and I've got a little bit of a picture for each one. And one of them we're going to go into a bit more detail. And I'd love your stories. You know, you all know the format. We've got it's one game first to 40 with 10 different legs. And so the first game we played in Murcia was, and I've got the scores here, was against Japan. Hopefully that's showing on your screens now. This is just some of the pictures we've got of it. Who wants to talk about what happened in the match against Japan? Any thoughts, any stories?
I just remember this being a very friendly atmosphere. Everybody was up for it. They were such a nice bunch of guys. It was a joy playing them.
Yes, I could say the same thing. Every time you score a goal against the Japanese team, you always mention a good shot or a nice shot or a good move. Or
yeah, they're such nice
they
guys.
were so sweet to play against.
And
Chris, that must have been your first game then. You were in that one, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you feel about it? Suddenly getting, playing. Were you nervous or?
No, I was. I don't tend to get too nervous before games. Funny enough, I'm always excited. Obviously, you get a little bit of an adrenaline rush. But like I say, those guys were so friendly.
They were, yeah.
Yeah, and I was just really pleased to be playing because I just weren't expecting to be playing at all. So to take part was a real privilege. So yeah, I remember it really well.
Chris, you come out on your holidays not expecting to play, and we were a player short, so I think that the team made a decision to hire you in about 30 seconds, and then took 45 minutes to decide who was then going to tell you.
Yeah, right.
You can see.
Well, I think
different tables.
I think
on Tornado Half.
I think we were thinking about it, but it was Mr. Paul Frogbar who first suggested that we actually approach Chris and ask him to join us.
Was it?
Well, Eddie was also very keen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank
true,
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris. For a few months before the World Cup, I was phoning Chris on a weekly basis, trying to get him to come. Even though he wasn't going to play, I said, "Come along, Chris. It'll be good crack." And the seniors, to be perfectly honest, we got on like brothers, and we were close team. And Chris come along finally, and I'm glad I talked him into it. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, because originally Titch was going to come along, but he had to drop out at short notice. So we were lucky that Chris was there to take his spot.
Titch pulled out last minute. Always dangerous to do that.
So the team against Japan. Great face, guys. Come on. Dave and Reese and George and Chris. Right. We didn't do any substitutions. It's just those four players. You can see 40-23. There's not a load of story in there. There's not a lot of drama. So we're going to have a look at the next game. Was Switzerland.
Yeah.
A bit of fun putting these pictures together. Let's see if that comes through. There you go. This is so we got the I think we were playing Egon Quonen, Rolly Parisi, Bernard Salin and Walter Strasnick. What do we remember about this lot? You can see the score there, guys.
Yeah, another nice bunch of guys.
Yeah. I remember playing Roland in 2 games of singles. He thrashed me 4-0 in the first leg, but I won something like 6-4 or 7-4 in the second leg, which pleased me no end to be able to beat him in a leg, because he's a previous senior Garlando world champion.
Oh, I'd forgotten that, Reese. Which tables were those 2 legs on? Were they on different tables or?
Garlando.
Both Garlando. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I think so. Yeah.
I remember losing 1 point on the Lionheart. We lost the match, Eddie and I, 4-3. And I thought to myself, thank God we only lost 1 point, not more.
It sounds like it must have been me that screwed up then, because
yeah, cheers, George.
They were so tough. We lost 1 point, Eddie. And I looked at you and I said, look, it's only 1 point. Someone else could get it back.
Yeah.
Well, Switzerland were one of the teams that they had Garlando as their first table, but they had a substitute table of Leonhardt, which is how we came to be playing them on those 2 tables.
Oh, they had the secondary table.
Yeah.
So the secondary table thing that's something new that ITSF invented. So if 2 teams pick the same home table and one of them has picked a secondary table, then the one of the legs is played on that secondary table.
Yeah.
What happens if both teams have a secondary table?
Yeah, if both
then you
teams
just
have secondary,
play on the
then
primary.
you ignore them. Yeah, you just ignore the secondaries.
I remember that George, Walter Strasnick was a friend of yours because you'd met in I think the Garlando Worlds, because you had a song you kept singing to him.
That's right.
Could you sing it for us?
Yes, he's called the guy jars a lot, and when trying to tell him that, look, you're jarring a lot, he start going like you're talking too much. So we made up a song about him. King Walter from Gibraltar, he jarred the table so much, and forgot it. I'll tell you in a minute.
Didn't know about that
I'll
song.
remember in a second. It was a nice song about him.
Well, you can see I got a lovely picture of him, giving you the bunny ears behind.
Yeah, but he's a lovely guy. He's a lovely fellow.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. He's
Really
a
hard to play against. He makes so many fouls in the game, and you can't really tell him. He gets upset about it.
But Roland, Roland is the strongest player on that team. He was very strong.
Very strong.
Not all foosball matches are quite as friendly as the spirit you get amongst the teams, because you've all been playing each other for an extended period of time. In the men's category, it's fierce, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of respect. There's a lot of mutual respect between the seniors because, everybody knows that everybody else is going to be a real grinder and never give up, just because they've been doing it for so long. So,
yeah.
The song says, King Walter from Gibraltar went to play foosball. He grabbed the table so hard, couldn't even catch his own ball.
It was poetic, partly, that was, George.
Yeah, we always sing it to him. He knows why.
Despite George's song, well, maybe because of George's song, that was a 28-40 loss for Team GB. Fairly. Next up was, if this is going to behave, La France. On Bonzini and Garlando, who played in this one, and what stories do we have from this particular game? This is the qualification leg, so we're going to play our 3 qualification games. Our third one.
Yeah, I remember the first leg. It was me and Paul, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And pretty early on in the game, I was called for a jar, and immediately half the team jumped in to say, no, it wasn't a jar, and their team were jumping in to say, yes, it was a jar. And people went off to get a ref. Now I'm thinking, I didn't think I jarred, but maybe it was. So after it all got, after we couldn't find a ref and they came back, so it was because the ball was on my 5, it was going to be my ball, but I handed it back to them. I gave it back to the French. I just wouldn't have felt comfortable if I'd have gone on to win after not giving the ball back.
So we fought for you for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
We won the battle, at which point you then lost the war. The reputation of the,
I've resigned.
Is anyone online watching us, or are we just chatting among ourselves?
Well, we've been live for 14 minutes. I can't see actually the comments today because I've got so many different screens up because we're doing it on Zoom. So I don't know who's got. Have a look on Facebook and see if people are asking. Sorry guys, if you're watching, we're a little bit. It's harder for us to interact with you today just because the way we're doing it, because we've got lots of us here. But we're having a nice time, and I hope you are too.
This match disappointed me actually, because I was expecting that we would be very close with France and possibly beat them. But they did have a very strong team this time. They had Christophe Arcelin and Eric Sicot and other very strong players.
I think I played singles against, one of my singles was against Eric, and he scored 2 great left-hand bank shots from defence.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's terrific.
So yeah, so he beat me, but I did okay in my other singles match, I remember.
Kai, you were playing this one as well, weren't you?
Oh. Yeah, the matches against the French are always very tense, aren't they? Quite difficult, to say the least.
But not just for the Brits.
Yeah, the way this picture's come out, there's a slightly irate gentleman in the middle there. I don't know how it's just come out like that.
Kai, do you remember anything about it? I remember very little about this match.
Exactly the same for me. Very, very little.
Strange.
I was under the impression we were doing very well, and I was pretty surprised when I realized that we were behind, significantly behind, when we were closing in on the 40.
The person who won it for France was Christophe Arcelin, who turned out to have an outstanding snake shot on Garlando. He just kept scoring. And you don't expect French to have a Garlando game, and he absolutely did. He was tremendous.
Yeah, he's good.
So
I remember being very disappointed after my second singles, because although I did well in it, I was really hoping that the chap I was playing scored different. He didn't seem to have one sort of set shot. He was doing different things. So he caught me out with one or two things, but I was really hoping to get more in that particular game.
The way it works is we've played 3 qualifications games. We won 1 and lost 2, but it's one of those things where all teams go through. You've ended up with a ranking. I think we ranked about 9th, which wasn't enough to put us straight through into the quarterfinals. We had to play a last 16 match. I can't remember if it was the same day or the next morning, but it was against Portugal, and I got a lovely picture. I couldn't find. There's no pictures of the game itself, but here's the guys we played, and we won it. So what stories can we remember from the Portugal game, guys?
Wow. I remember them playing really different game to anything I've seen before. On the, World Championship level. They were not.
Yes, very strange paths, very strange shots.
It's like almost El Volo type of game.
It was.
One of their guys, I think, is it the second one on the right, second from the right? He'd never played a tournament before. Is that right, Will?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's a very, very strong and very unconventional kind of, bar player, and he had so many tricks and things, that I'd never seen before, all kinds of stuff that was really effective. So yeah, they were a good team.
They were ahead at one point as well, weren't they? I think we had to. I don't know who was playing in this one.
I was playing.
Eddie, were you in this one?
Yeah, I was. Yeah,
in this one.
I think it must be said though that throughout the whole tournament there were no easy games. Even against Japan, Japan have vastly improved, and these guys too. We were going in the water cold, and we didn't know what half of them did shot wise, but they're all little chippies, angled shooters, and yeah, no game was easy.
Yeah.
Well, I think if we would have played them again next day, we would have beaten them very comfortably.
Yeah.
Because at the end, we figured out how they played and what was the difference.
Right.
It's a usual thing when, as a very strong player, you play somebody who is not exactly a strong player, but does very unusual stuff. It takes quite a while to adapt.
Mm.
Which is why they caused some trouble until halftime or so, right?
Yeah.
We were behind at halftime. I remember that.
This was the match where we made a substitution, wasn't it, halfway? So
yes.
At the halfway point, you get this option that you're allowed to substitute. I think it's up to 3 players. So yeah, so we did that.
So what substitution did we make?
I think we brought Kai and Paul, was it, in?
No, I didn't play.
Chris.
Kai and Chris, sorry, yeah, Kai and Chris. Do you remember anything about that, Chris?
Yeah, I can remember playing with Kai in the second half of the game. I think, like you say, I think we were just behind, and we managed to pull it back. So yeah, that was pretty pleased with that
decision. Yeah.
So we've played this very unconventional team from Portugal who haven't played in tournaments before. And so you're through to the quarterfinals, and the quarterfinals give you this. That's Team USA. Tony Bacon, Steve Biney, Dave Gummerson, Rick Macias, Steve Murray. How many of these guys are in the Hall of Fame?
All of them.
All of them, yeah.
All of them, right? Tony Bacon, the best player in the United States in the 80s. Adrian Zamora, one of the best, if not the best in the 90s. Steve Murray, a legend all the way through. Dave Gummerson, how many times has Dave Gummerson been a world champion? Steve Biney's a world champion. These guys are phenomenal. You tell me what you guys know about them, right? Before we get into the match.
Well, I'll tell you what I know. I was watching Dave Gummerson. I knew I'm going to play him 6 months before the tournament. I was watching his games, how he passes, his wall pass, stick pass, his pull shot. I don't play defense, so I wasn't bothered about his pull shot. So I've been watching him all the time, see where he passes it from, how he moves. I was fascinated by his pull shots from his old games, and sort of I've watched about 10, 15 of his matches before the World Cup, before we went. I sort of had an idea. I didn't see anyone else. I just focused on Dave Gummerson's game. Hence, when I got to play him, I had an idea what he's going to do next on the 5-bar.
Your blocking was good, George. Yeah, I remember that. You blocked very well on the.
We'll see it a little bit later, actually.
Yeah. So the thing about this, it's probably worth saying, because we haven't mentioned this, that when you put your lineup in, you've got to put in 2 different lineups, depending on who wins the toss and which table you're going to start on. So you can see there in that first lineup, number 135, that's where we start on the Garlando table. The green is our home table, which was Garlando, and the red is for Tornado. And then the other lineup, number 11, is if we were to start on the Tornado table, we would play it that way. And what happened was, I think we won the toss and we picked lineup number 11. And the reason
we lost the toss. And because the opponents haven't given it any thought, they did what you normally do without thinking. You choose your own home table.
Right. So they picked the lineup that we preferred. They picked lineup number 11, right?
Not realizing that meant they would not play their home table in case it is a close call, right?
Right. So the last 3 legs we get to play on Garlando twice. But the irony is that we actually played better on Tornado and they played better on Garlando.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some film, guys. Do you want to have a look at it? Let's see if it's going to work. I hope it is. And so let's see. It might work. Yeah. So this is the first leg. Got 4 minutes of this. Dave and George against Tony Bacon. I would pay to watch Tony Bacon's 5-bar and Steve Murray. We've got 4 minutes of this. Let's see how it goes. Hope you can hear it okay.
Got us off to a great start, actually. I mean, couldn't be any better, could it?
No, I'll turn the sound off so we can talk about it while we go through.
Yeah.
So Dave and George in particular, do you want to talk about what might be happening as you're playing this?
Yes, I missed my first pull shot. I managed to pass, and then obviously that's the second ball where he passed to Steve to Tony Bacon.
Yeah, so this was the first leg that we played against them, and I remember thinking exactly what I wanted to do at the back. That I wanted to show him, I wanted to jump between a bunch of different stock defenses and try and time it, so that I was staying firm when he was just about to go.
Drop past
and I wanted to keep
in on the 5.
Dave Z's marking was outstanding in this game. Tony Bacon is one of the best shooters in the world, pull shooters.
And Steve Murray is one of the best complainers in the world, right?
Yeah. but when we're playing the likes of Tony Bacon and Gareth Schirkenbach and Dave Gummerson and Steve Murray, Adrian Zamora, Steve Bainey, wow! I mean, these are all Oscar winners. These guys are the best players in history. And Dave Zeman was marking Tony Bacon out. His marking was superb. He scores in a minute, Dave does.
This video is thanks to Darren Bone, who's a super guy from the US who was
shot Dave
filming. I mean, we'll say it again, but they were complete gentlemen. They were a great bunch of guys, and they were just a pleasure to play with, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's it was a team stacked of foosball heroes.
Yeah,
the US team.
Yeah, Reese, you've been listening to foosball radio. Tony Bacon, they decided was the player on the Dynamo and top forward in the 80s.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I've been to the Tornado Worlds 3 times myself, and I've played against Dave Gummerson there. With me and Declan went there, and Dave was playing with Tracy McMillan, but they beat us easily, and I was defending against Dave Gummerson there. He drilled me basically. So
second ball for George.
Yes, second
3-bar.
Before we played these guys, Tony Bacon came along and said, "Hey guys, we've been practicing on the Garlando, and we sure love that table. You know, it's a bit of gamesmanship there, but and they played well on the Garlando.
They played better than we did. They passed better than we did on Garlando.
Yeah.
Playing better means they scored more goals than we did on the Galando, to make that very clear.
Yeah.
So we scored significantly more goals on the Tornado because we won.
Yeah.
Which nobody could have forecasted that, right?
And
they were meant to be unbeatable on Tornado.
This first game has a lot to do with that.
Sorry, Reece?
This first game has a lot to do with that, because you're winning this game 4-0. It's
yes,
fantastic start, isn't it?
That made a big impact.
But also, I think
so.
they struggled a lot with the transition between the table types. You know, normally they used to playing a lot of Tornado, and I think just jumping between the table types, you know, was a problem.
I don't know. I think that after the first game, they were probably expecting to win the first leg, and
what's the pull shot? Yeah,
they were a bit shocked, I think. After,
oh, nice shot,
George.
Nice, George.
Shot, George.
So that's 4-0 in the first leg in 4 minutes. And actually, I think we've got the next one is the second leg. If it's going to behave, no, not that one. We've seen that one. This is over to Garlando, Dave Gummison, Garrett Scherkenbach, Reece and Chris. Let's see how this one
Chris, yeah.
I've seen this. If this is the clip that goes on for 2 or 3 minutes, I've seen it before, and I don't think I even touched the ball once on my 3-bar. We get one slop and one good goal from Chris in these last few minutes.
Yeah, I think the thing here is Dave Gummerson's passing on Garlando was impressive.
Yeah, I slowed him down a bit towards the end, but at first for sure he was passing almost every time. So lucky for me, Chris is blocking him well.
We've got a few.
But it is difficult to set up the pull shot on the Garlando.
That pass.
Yeah.
That was like a fast lane pass.
I should have asked George what he spotted in the videos. If I'd have known that George.
A shout out to some of the people who are watching. Now I've managed to figure out how to do this. So shouting out Albert Ando, Steve Lyle, Camille Docker in rugby, George E. Jr. I reckon is out there somewhere. Dave Clearhill, Mike Russell. Tahir Hamid, hi guys, thanks for watching, and everyone else is out there as well. Sorry, we're a bit tech light today. I love Garrett Scherkenbach's passing. I don't know if it works here. He was a class player.
Yeah, great pass.
At first, it was on both teams in doubles. They were doing that, setting up for a push shot or pull shot, and doing that lane pass from the 2-bar to the 3-bar. We started to get a bit of it disrupted, but at first it was effective.
Is this where Chris scores?
Yeah, great goal.
I think this is the slop one coming up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris scores the winner here, I think, doesn't he?
I've got the sound turned off, but I think when that one goes in, I think Dave, you say that's the way to do it.
Can we have the sound on?
I didn't know that.
So somebody says something like that.
What struck me was Dave Gummerson. I mean, you watch him play, he looks so smooth and calm. And this game, he was agitated.
He was.
I don't know if he's normally like that, but
no,
that's not what I'm expecting Dave Gummerson to be like.
Pressure was on.
Oh, you know, playing a team.
Yeah, but
legends, right?
It is difficult to set up the ball as precisely on the Garlando, so I can understand struggling.
Does Chris block it? Oh.
Split.
He went to see if he was going to move from the straight first. He's got a very good straight as Dave Gummerson.
So we're at this point, they've got 5 goals in total because they lost the first leg 4-0, and we've got 7.
Yeah.
5. So if we score again, we'll have won the leg and go to the next.
Come on, Chris.
There's always this moment of doubt where you think maybe he won't score it,
He didn't.
even though you know he does.
Is this the one?
Shouting at Uzi Ahmed, who's watching.
Garrett Schirkenbach just
Bang.
jumps out of the way. That's it.
Shot, Chris.
Played,
game.
boys. Played.
Not well played.
So at this point, we are 8-5 up. And of course, we didn't film everything, right? So Dave and I managed to sort of back engineer a little bit of some of the scores. So the third leg, singles, Dave, that's you against Steve Murray. Can you remember that one?
I don't remember too much about it. Do we have the score line on that?
Well, you scored 4. We
No.
know that. And you had an
Yeah.
interesting exchange with him.
He accused you of jarring at one point.
Oh,
Do you remember the
Why
conversation?
are you mentioning this? He was complaining in every single game about something.
He's an old professional.
I think.
No, he's an
I think
asshole.
this is where.
Hey,
This is the.
He's a super guy.
This is the game
super guy.
where.
Steve Murray, super guy.
I think this is the game where Dave. There was mention of the benefit of the doubt.
of the what?
Benefit of the doubt.
Benefit of the doubt. Oh, okay.
It was that one.
Oh, and then it came back the other way, right?
You
Yeah.
have the jar was called on you, Dave, and you being Dave Zeman and the world for you being all zeros and ones because you didn't think it was a jar. You were thus not going to give it a jar because it wasn't a jar, and it doesn't really matter what the other person thinks because you know, Mr. Logic, if anyone knows Viz, wasn't going to give a jar. And so then a bit later on, he cashed in the benefit of the doubt on something else.
Yeah.
Right. That's it.
Right.
Yeah, I think it was the jar the other way, but you had the ball this time, Dave, and you said that's your benefit of the doubt.
Oh,
something like that.
So you won that one singles leg. You scored 4. We don't quite know how many Steve got. He might have got 4 or 5. So let's think it's sort of 12-10 at this point. And then Reese goes into a singles game on Garlando against Tony Bacon. Reese, you remember that one?
I just remember the score. It was 4-4. I don't remember much about the actual game.
What I do remember at this particular point was not a lot about the actual game, but we were the only ones playing in that particular hall amongst the seniors. All the other seniors matches, I think, were in the main hall, and people were coming in to sort of have a look from the other teams to find out how the Americans were doing and how many of the Americans were winning by. And I seem to remember it was a German player who came in, looked at the table, came up and asked me what the score was. When I told him, his jaw sort of hit the floor, and then he sort of left the hall and went back to sort of tell the rest of the German players.
Yeah.
And I seem to remember a Dutch player coming in as well, and then another German player coming in. They kept popping in now. They were very interested in our game, and don't know whether we need to be insulted by this, but they were very surprised that we were in the lead.
I think they were pleased.
They were pleased because
I'm sure they were highly delighted, but
the Germans don't like playing the Americans, and that's why they were popping in and out. And I mean, the Brits played well.
So the next game, fifth leg. You were talking about your game against Tony. Go on.
No, it's okay. Carry on.
Okay, so our fifth leg, we're back on Tornado. I think it's sort of about, what's going to be like 16-12 sort of thing. Anyway, so the fifth, I've got film for this one. This is George and Chris against Gummerson and Schirkenbach. Let's share the screen again if that's going to work. And again, this is unfortunately we've only got 3 legs filmed out of the 10, but here we go.
I must apologize, Chris, in advance.
This is Rick
every time I scored a goal, I was hitting Chris on his back really hard.
Great player, Rick Macias. He should have been playing.
So you guys won this leg 4-2, right?
Yeah, that's right. Watch Gummerson being
So you were blocking really well on the 5, George, I thought.
I sort of knew where he was going to go next.
Yeah, and you were passing well on him as well.
I don't know whether you can notice, but there's a lot of German senior Met players watching the games. Yeah.
3 of them, yeah.
That's Joseph Cornelius.
Cornelius, yeah.
And the GB women's team as well. Some of them.
Hans Jakob, I think one of the.
Yeah, both Corneliuses.
What is the score here? 0-0 still.
Yeah.
0-0 at the moment, yeah. What was that long pull?
Actually, George and Chris, I was really impressed with the way you both played throughout.
Here.
You were just a really solid team, and George's pull shot was doing some real damage, especially the moving pull shot, the unexpected moving pull shot that you pulled out from time to time. Executed really well.
Boom.
There you go.
That's gone.
And after this game, I think the Americans did a substitution. Well, I know they did because Adrian Zamora came in.
Yeah.
I think Tony Bacon stepped out.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we should mention that not only were there many World Championship titles on the other side of the table from the 70s and 80s, Zamora was at that point already singles senior champion and double senior champion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Garrett I'd never seen Adrian Zamora play, and I was completely blown away by his game. It is 5-bar up pass.
Yeah.
He's a fabulous player.
I saw him win the Tornado World Championships doubles round about 2003 or 2004. Yeah, really good player.
When you see how, and watching Gummerson, when you see, the level they play at is unbelievable.
Mr. Zamora is also one of the top referees, and has been for years. It was so disappointing that he didn't sort of get involved with the jarring question between Mr. Murray and yourself, Dave.
Well, they sorted it out between them.
Well,
yeah.
There's our super fan wearing his Hawaii shirt.
Yeah.
Zamora is the only player I've ever seen who doesn't put his 3-bar down when his own partner has the ball on the 2-bar, and yet he catches passes anyway.
Well, didn't their captain keep asking you what score it was? And
no, so the coach was Bruce Nardoki.
Oh, sorry, coach.
Bruce. Yeah.
He's a senior player of many years, and Bruce and I were just checking between us to make sure that we were.
Yeah. You don't look too happy there, Will.
He's not winning by enough. I'm worried.
Bruce Nardoki came to Cafe Kick back in the 2000s as well. I remember he was there for a DYP.
Well, he's originally a Bonzini player in North Carolina. They play Bonzini.
Yeah, he plays Bonzini. Yeah.
Top player.
Come on, Chris.
I'm going to start. We can look a little bit ahead. Should we talk about, because this is the last film we've got?
Yeah.
Just to go through. How many more minutes we got this? Yeah, it's got about a minute left. So after this, as we say, Adrian Zamora came in, and it was a doubles leg, which was Dave and Reese against Steve Murray and Adrian Zamora. And again, every leg, Team GB scores 4 goals, and we can't quite remember what happened the other way around. But Dave and Reese, can you remember playing Steve Murray and Adrian Zamora?
Oh, I remember when Adrian Zamora came on. He was he seemed very determined, and brought more energy to the team, is the way I saw it at the time.
Yeah.
But I can't remember the score in that leg, but we didn't do badly.
We scored 4 to win it. I don't remember. This was
on Garlando, and I think that in this leg, we started with me up front, then we swapped, and then I went back up front again. So I can't remember much more about it than that, but I think we did okay on that leg.
We then went back to Tornado, and that was George and Chris against Dave Gummerson and Garrett Scherkenbach. And again, Team GB scored 4. So this one's finished. I'll just put us on. We'll stop sharing for a moment. We'll go back. So we're on this probably the 7th leg. Yeah, George and Chris against Dave Gummerson and Garrett Scherkenbach. We ended up scoring 4, and we got a 28. It's sort of 28-25-y sort of thing at this point. Any memories from that one?
I don't. No.
Well, one I can remember very well is the next one, which is the 8th leg, which was Reese on Garlando against Steve.
Yeah, Steve Murray destroyed me on Garlando. I thought it was 7-4, but Will thinks it was 9-4.
No, 7-4.
No. I fully agree with 7-4, but you were 6-1 down.
Yes, 6-1 down, was it?
And I was absolutely impressed that you kept your nerves and you didn't go nervous and nothing, and you hit back, and that was extremely important.
I know I got the last 2 goals in the leg. So
you kept passing. Your 5 was passing at 100%, and your Snake was scoring at not 100%. And it kept going back to your 5 and kept going to your 3 and not scoring, and going back to the 5 again.
Right.
Yeah. At one point, it was 30-30, and then Steve Murray scored, and so it's 31-30. USA are up by a goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
For 1 goal only, and then you got the last 2.
The one and only time.
That was the only time they were in the lead, and but fortunately I was able to get the last 2, and I was so relieved at the end of that to have finished playing.
It has to be said that Murray played extremely well in that game.
Extremely.
Yeah.
Dave Z, just to your right hand side, Dave, behind you, there's a chair. Are you in a nursing home?
It's a very old chair.
No, I just wondered. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, no,
because we're all at a funny age.
It's Judith's grandmother's chair, so it's a very old chair.
Ladies, welcome to the Eddie Edwards entertainment break. Eddie, could you tell us the joke you told us earlier about the person who came into your electrician's shop the other day?
Oh yeah, this fella came in. He said, "Excuse me, do you sell HDMI leads?" And I said, "Yeah." And then he said, "What does HDMI stand for?" So I said, "National Association of Dyslexics." Hey.
Shocking, Eddie.
Yeah, it is shocking, but
shocking.
Thank you for that intermediate break. And I'll go back to the next leg of our football game, which was Dave playing Adrian Zamora.
Great game.
Yeah, this was my high point, my personal, not captain high point, but my personal kind of high point. He played strong, and I just played strong as well. It was a great game. I really enjoyed it. We won that one 4-2.
Yeah, we enjoyed it too.
One of the things that I was saying to Dave before we were playing the Americans was that they've got such good defenders. They're all used to defending the rollover and the pull shot, but Dave, when he does his tic-tac, he can score. It looks effortless, but it's so difficult to defend. He's got me with it loads of times, and that's what he was doing. I remember they were complaining after the match that they didn't know what to do about those tic-tac.
I think that's one of the nice things about the race format, right? There isn't enough time to adjust. You know, it's only 4 goals, right? So it's very hard to do anything about it when somebody comes out with some tricks.
Yeah.
Good point.
So the last game then is on Garlando. We're back to George and Chris against Gummerson.
I remember that game.
What happened then?
So I handed you a 36-33.
That's right, yes.
And you took it from there.
Yes, we scored. We were matching them ball for ball on that match. They were scoring, we were scoring. We managed to score our 4 before they got into the 3rd goal, I think.
Do you remember anything about that? how that ended, that leg?
Yes, I think Chris scored one from the back. That's how it ended, didn't it, Chris? Our last goal was, I scored 2 pull shots. I think we got a freebie, and Chris has finished the last one from the back.
Chris scored the winner.
Yes, I think so, yeah.
Well done, Chris.
They were doing very well against us, but I scored every ball I could grab on my 3-bar. I missed one, I think. And Chris got the ball 3 times, scored once.
Well, here's what it looked like at the end.
Look.
So it was 40-37, and the Americans were kind enough to take a picture with us afterwards. And I say they were just a bunch of really nice guys, and they supported Team GB all the way through after that. Eddie was overcome with emotion. Eddie, someone got a picture of your tears.
Yeah, it was a great achievement.
Can Reece see this on the left-hand side?
Pardon?
Yeah, look at this comment. Reece and George, talk us through this exchange that we've got here on Facebook.
Oh, right. Right, okay, to put that in context, what I was talking about was if both teams had Tornado, but if we actually scored more on Tornado, then maybe I was wrong on that as well.
No,
So this came out of the senior team, the chat we had, chat group we set up on Facebook. So this was this would have been a few weeks before, right?
No, long before we decided what table choice we had.
Oh, we were trying to decide which table.
Trying to decide what table choice we had. I told them.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
We said no way we can beat the American on Tornado.
And you said, yeah, we will.
Yeah.
But also, I remember saying to Dave before the match started that if we're being thrashed at half time, say we're losing something like 20-10, then he may as well substitute 3 of us. So at least the other 3 team members could say they played against this great American team, because, you know, to play against names like that, you don't often get a chance to play against people like that. So
that's a really good point. I mean, one of the problems with the format is once you start winning, it's very hard to change the lineup. You know, if the thing's working, you don't want to kind of break it.
Yeah.
So the problem is that once you start progressing in the knockout, it's very, very difficult to make a change. You know, if it's going well and you're winning.
So well, our next game, because you know we then had a quarter-final done. We're into a semi-finals against. Let's see if I can get my screen share to work again. Against the Dutch.
Yeah.
My most difficult match ever. Although I didn't play.
Why?
But I almost died from a heart attack.
This was a tougher game than the American game.
It was
Yes.
it was amazing.
It was amazing.
Well said, Paul. Well said.
I mean, the Dutch played really, really well, and I think I think that you guys you were on such a high after beating the Americans. It was difficult for you to get going again when this match started, and it was you know, I was seriously impressed that you came through and won it eventually. Seriously impressed.
39-39.
Yeah.
Well,
39-39, and then I really, although we won.
Then, so we had a long moment with the referee, didn't we? Or you can see Wolfgang Breuer there as refereeing on the left, because there was a dispute and a discussion about the rules where we had the guy who'd written the rules on Team G. St. George, what happened there? Do you remember that one?
Yes, I started the ball with the second man instead of the third man on the 5-bar. And the referee said it's a foul, they should have the ball. I think either Dave Zeman or somebody, can't remember, said, no, it's a warning, not a foul.
Yeah, yes. It was just incredible because I'd just been writing that part of the rule book. I'd just been, you know, kind of translating it from the legacy rules to the SMR. So that rule was in my mind, and you know, it kind of surprised me when I read it. But yeah, the first offence is a warning. So I asked the referee if he could check, and he went to the desk and he came back and confirmed it. So you got the ball again.
So I got the ball back, yeah.
And more importantly, you scored after that.
Yes, I think I did. I did the middle pull shot.
Yeah.
And the Dutch were ahead for quite a long way through this game as well. I can't remember, were they ahead probably when we had the row as well?
Have you got the video, Will?
We've got the video, the
A
end
little
bit.
bit later, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was, I can't exactly remember what happened here, but I think we had some good singles legs here, didn't we?
Yes.
But they were ahead by quite a long, and this is a 9-4 leg. You played Horst Meisters, Dave, and you just Zemaned him. You like the Americans and your tic tac. You went full on Dave Zeman. They were getting everything. You were tic tacking, you were snaking, you were probably doing your back pin to push kick. And poor Horst Meisters wanted to get off the table. It was, and you got us back into the game completely. Whether then we're in the lead after that, but that was a huge difference.
Horst is a very good player. We Dave and I, we went to the Leonhardt tournament in Czechoslovakia after this, or Czech Republic rather, and Horst won that one, and yeah, he's a really good player.
And I was very Undermol and Jo Fransen, fantastic players as well.
Yeah, I partnered Joe Franson in a DYP. I think it was at the Leonhardt Worlds, and we did really well, and it was all him. I mean, his 5-bar and his 3-bar, he's passing really well, and he just shoots beautifully. He was doing great stuff.
So we got to 39-39 in the end, didn't we?
Yep.
We did, yeah.
What happened next? Let's have a look if this is going to work.
Yeah, I think they took a timeout.
Okay, let's talk us through it, George. It's there's not that much of it, but this is what happens next.
It's 2 minutes.
To work. Come on, YouTube. Eddie can tell us a joke. Well, oh, there you go. Start the timeout. 39-39.
Right, I think now the guy took his time and then.
Yeah, slapped him.
Yep, that's after the timeout. Yeah, that's when I stuffed him back in the net.
Oh, yeah.
He was gutted.
It was a horrible way to go. It was painful. Yeah, it was painful.
Yeah, although I was pleased we'd won, I just felt so sorry for the Czech in defence.
I did too.
He's a great player as well, there, goalie.
Tom van Inbergen.
I mean, he did the right thing. You know, he felt under pressure, so he took a timeout and then restarted, and then that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, we got through.
That's pressure.
Everyone's had that happen to them, but to have it happen at that time must be awful.
Yeah.
So, what happens next then? We got a final to play.
I think we can stop here.
We can gloss over that.
Come on, let's not stop. Let's talk a little bit about playing the final on the big stage. This fantastic team of German players who you all know so well.
Yeah, it was great to be there, but I do feel that everyone was emotionally drained. I think after beating the Americans, that tense finish against the Dutch, everybody was just sort of running very low on gas.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at this video.
I don't feel like that myself, but maybe you're right.
I felt that way. I mean, I looked at this video afterwards, and I sucked in this. I mean, I had low energy. I kept letting him score middles on me, you know, time after time. I didn't play well.
They certainly outplayed us.
The German team said the final was between us and America. That's when the World Cup was won. They were very nice, the Germans, about it.
Yeah, what did Heinz say something nice to you, Kai, or to one of us?
Yeah, he said, get out of the way.
Those who beat the Americans should have won the tournament, is what he said.
Yeah, that's right.
No, the Germans. Robert DX was the guy who won this game for them. He was.
Roberto was incredible.
Roberto, yeah,
especially in the singles.
He beat me in both singles. I think it was 4-2 and 4-3. He beat me.
Yeah, he came out with stuff all over the place. Amazing 2-bar shots.
Yeah,
great pin shot.
Yeah, I think I was 2-0 up in one, and I lost 4-2.
So this was the kind of nightmare scenario. I remember when we were thinking about the table pick. I knew that Garlando pick would be you know, would be the worst against the Germans, because our advantage on Galando has been eroded over the years, and the Germans are really good on it now, and the Americans. So yeah, this was the kind of.
Detlef Freitag is unbelievable in the back.
He's good.
Very good.
We were very lucky that Heinz Kiesling, who normally is a very strong attacker on Galando, had a bad day and got substituted at halftime, but it didn't help anyway.
No, the substitutes are all quality anyway.
I think they just wanted to give their players, you know, a look in the final.
I think they should change the rules. Say, when you get to the final, you can really have a new table choice.
So what a great idea.
If there's a tornado in sight on that final, I can guarantee the World Cup.
One thing I do remember, George, you had a tough call against you. You scored a goal to take us to 8-7 ahead in the second leg.
Yes.
And you'd gone over on the clock by a second. And that,
I didn't. It was dead on 15. And when he put his hand up, I scored at the time.
Yeah, that was painful.
Because he's a young referee and he wanted to like put his foot down.
Yeah, he called time just as you scored, right?
He didn't even call time. He lifted his hand up at the time when I scored.
yeah,
He lifted his hand up, I scored. So it should be allowed to be.
We would have had the lead then.
Yep.
Nevertheless, we come second.
But all in all, I mean, the Germans did play very well.
So when you come second, you get Eddie is demonstrating what happens when you come second.
Yes.
You get a ceremony where you go and get a trophy, and I found it, and then we'll have watched this a few times. But they call you out.
Whilst we were lining up, waiting for the.
What are you doing on your own there?
Yeah.
Well, you better explain this.
Yeah. So well, we did know that one of Team GB doesn't mind a spotlight really. So we knew that Eddie was going to do something anyway.
Why did everybody hold off?
So we just all held off.
We were all hiding, Eddie.
Yeah.
I think Chris said, "Let's all hold back and let Eddie go and dance." So yeah, Eddie just did his thing. I think Uzi Ahmed is watching. You sent us that clip straight away. It's just so fun. I don't know. We're going to make a GIF out of that and send it around.
Yeah. Some of the women's German team want a copy. He said, "What a mover!"
To throw darts.
That's what you get at the end of it all.
Whilst we were waiting for this ceremony to start, Dave Gummerson and Billy Pappas came over to speak with us all as well, which I thought was really nice.
Yeah, that was really nice.
Yeah, I was starstruck, and I babbled on for a few minutes with Dave Gummerson. I probably sounded like an idiot.
And that's what we got at the end of it, though.
Yeah. Brilliant.
I don't know where it is now because Eddie dropped it a few times that night. If anyone got it, let's have a look. Who's got it?
Very good.
Reese.
Yes.
Kai had it for a while.
Can you full screen Reese so everyone can see?
Let's see how I can do that. Yeah. Spotlight, does that work? There we go.
It dwarfs you, Reese.
It
Yeah,
does.
I know. It's massive, isn't it?
Steady. Bloody hell, get resampling some channel on. And then name it.
Right.
That's it, guys. I think that was kind of our little adventure, wasn't it? Beginning to end.
Yeah, it was great.
It was.
Right,
It was a
guys,
great time.
Are we all training for the next World Cup? Do you all have tables at home?
Of course.
Are we training?
We certainly are.
As Reese gone, Reese, show us your foosball room.
I'm not sure. Oh, there we are.
Wow.
Oh, Reese.
Well, there, let's put
That brown one, Reese. Play on the
I've
brown one, Reese.
Pardon?
Play on the brown one, please.
Show us all.
Hold
What have you got
on.
there?
I'm hitting the wrong button there.
So what? Ooh.
There we are.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
you need more tables, Reese. Somebody was on the internet and said they've got what's the French table called?
Bonzini.
Bonzini. Yeah. What should he do with it? And Ben sent a reply saying, "Build a bonfire and burn it." But I thought that was funny at the time. But I tell you what, look, guys, the other thing is as well, out of this last World Cup, we were a team. We were together. We ate together. We died together. We slept together. It was a
I
team.
didn't sleep with you, Eddie.
No.
And you, Eddie, even made it to the right airport.
Right.
Yeah, yes, that's right. Thanks for bringing that up.
Right. Before we all
We
leave,
made the right Zoom tonight as well, so we can all be together.
right, we just before we all go, just a big shout to Manchester Table Football Club. As you all know, we have 5 international tables in our club, and we shortly going to be starting going back in and do some training on all tables. So
one of your players is a new father as well, I think, George, isn't he?
oh yes.
Who's that then?
Man. Congratulations to Man. And he baby.
Man,
Oh,
Man,
congratulations.
Yeah, baby boy, Zavian, I think is the name.
Zavian, yes. Congratulations to Man. And
Yeah.
hopefully, after we all have our injection and everything sorted, we'll be going back to a full-on training on all 5 different tables. So expect a good team from Manchester Table Football Club coming up soon.
Right.
That's about the best way to end our session tonight, is because this is all about being a team, right? And you've just seen, dear viewers, this is a team who had a fantastic time together, who played the sport together and had fun together. And what George has just said about Manchester Table Football Club, where we're going to go with in the UK, we want more and more clubs, more and more teams having more and more fun together.
Yeah.
So as George says, as we get our jabs and we get back to normal, we're going to take our great game out and start clubs in, I don't know, Exeter and Norwich and Belfast and the Shetland Islands and all over the place, and just take this game out and have more and more fun. But the way to do it is group. It's not on your own. If you're stuck in Belfast and you have to go to a national tournament on your own, it's miserable. If you go with all your mates to an event, it's so much fun, as we just showed you today.
Well, Will, can we thank you, mate, for being behind us all the way, Will? Because you made the team believe. You said, "Come on, guys, you can do it."
Yeah, Will, you were a great coach.
Here.
Couldn't have done it without you.
We had a load of fun. As George said that we could beat the Americans, and I didn't touch the table, right? We had a load of fun.
Yeah, brilliant.
And Eddie, thanks for having us on your show tonight. It's been
yeah, I didn't have much to say. I was quite well behaved.
You were, weren't you, George?
I was.
Yes, sir.
If you could do anything to get Les Jones playing and in the senior team, that would be a nice trick.
Yes, we're working on it.
good.
As a Manchester Table Footballer Club, we have a plan going forward for Mr. Jones.
Great. That's what we need. We need Les to come back.
The plan in place.
Yeah.
Well, first we have to get rid of the virus.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, I'm going for my jab tomorrow.
Oh, excellent, Paul.
There you go. There you go.
Which one are you having, the
Good
Pfizer
stuff.
or the AstraZeneca?
I've got no idea.
Before we have a gent's cup of tea, shall I close the Facebook and we can carry on chatting afterwards? And we'll just say goodbye to our lovely viewers, okay?
Yeah, bye-bye.
You're going to wave goodbye. Just close the Facebook. Cheers, guys.